Hello and welcome to Find Your Voice, where we interview thought leaders from our community at Podcast Guesting Pro. I'm Cassie Welford, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Francis Rodino, who is an AI growth architect and author who turns messy CRMs and sales processes into predictable demand generation systems for service and operational businesses. Francis, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Cassie.
Thank you so much. So we'd love to find out a bit more about your journey. What was the turning point in your 2-decade corporate career that made you pivot into helping service business with CRMs and sales automation?
Call it a midlife crisis. Climbing the corporate ladder, senior level leadership roles in big corporations. It was a great experience where I earned my stripes. But ultimately, I wanted to make a bigger impact, and I thought I could do that helping directly business owners and founders of small and medium-sized businesses with the same freedom, tech, and operational efficiencies and systems that we use to put in place for the big boys. But now we can take all of that learning and insights and strategies and tech and really help smaller businesses to grow and scale online.
Thank you so much. And your RED method, R-E-D, is central to your approach. Could you walk us through the pillars of that and how they translate into day-to-day changes for a business?
Well, the RED method is essentially the 9-step system which I outlined in my book, Leads Machine. And it's a method, it's a pathway, if you will, that takes some timeless marketing best practices and psychology and helps business owners put in place a robust marketing strategy in a step-by-step chronological fashion through 9 accelerators. And essentially, the first is the market intel and analyzing and knowing on a deep level, intimately, what your market thinks, feels, desires, and fears. And being able to then translate those insights into number 2, the messaging, your offer, your value proposition, what you say on your website and your ads, your unique mechanism. So that is the way you do the thing that you do. And then number 3 is the map, turning that all into a customer journey where you can give that message to the right person at the right time at the right place. And then the engine, which is one of our products, the revenue engine, turning all of those insights, messaging, and customer journey into an automated AI-enabled engine that feeds the machine, that helps deliver that content, messaging, offers to help captivate, cultivate, and convert leads on autopilot. And then when you have a robust engine, then you can put fuel to the fire or pedal to the metal, so to speak, and reach more people, resell, remarket, retarget, and then refine the system over time. And essentially the book is a bit of a mammoth of a book, but it's the 9-step system, and it's really designed for service-led businesses primarily, although many businesses can use it. But as a service business working with other service-led businesses, we found that we were doing the same thing again and again and again. And that after years of doing that with literally hundreds and hundreds of businesses around the world, it was time to put that methodology into a book because so many people came to us. They weren't really sure where to start, whether they were ready for marketing, automation, AI. It's a confusing landscape. It always was for business owners who are just dipping their toes into it. And now with AI changing almost daily, it's even more confusing sometimes. And the book will help business owners to dispel some myths, identify and create clarity and highlight some unknown unknowns, save a lot of money, especially when they're dealing with marketing agencies or trying to do marketing themselves. Because if you don't know what you don't know, that's when you get burned, right? So before investing into marketing, a great place to start is reading the book and then deciding whether it's something you want to do in-house or pay something, or learn to do it yourself or pay someone else to do it for you. As one of my mentors, Daniel Priestley, says, there's really 2 ways to get something done. Throw money at it or throw your time at it. And so start by reading the book.
Fantastic. And they can turn their confusion into clarity.
Confusion into clarity, antiquated into automated, and invisible to irresistible.
Oh, that's a good one. Love that. Thank you so much. What a fantastic answer. So, for a founder who's using an inconsistent CRM and a manual follow up, what would be the changes that you would implement in one of your sessions?
Well, when clients work with us, they typically come because they're looking to evolve, right?
Mm,
In from manual, messy, cluttered, unleveraged CRMs. Like most businesses I speak to, actually, they have a CRM. It's just not used properly. So they're using it like a glorified note taker or a contact database, a Rolodex. Remember those note cards that you just
yeah.
Rolodex, right? But, there's two things that people really need to acknowledge is that your CRM does nothing at all, right? It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't make you money. It doesn't do the thing. So the CRM is a tool, just like you had a toolkit or a Swiss Army knife. And if you don't know what outcome you want to produce, you don't know what tool to use and how to make that happen. So when clients come to us, it's usually because they have an unleveraged, unused CRM, which is not making them money, or the very fact that they're not leveraging automation, nurture, follow up, all of these things that you can do to generate more sales, is they're missing out on a lot of sales. They're leaving money on the table that essentially is going straight to the competitors. Competitors are faster to respond, they follow up, they get that lead, they nurture relationships, and that could have been theirs, right? Had they have been faster and, providing better follow-up and a customer experience. So that's essentially what they come to us for, is to build out these systems, and we AI enable it, which means, it used to be all about automated messaging, but now it's smart, thoughtful, customer-centric messaging that can react in a very personalized way,
Mm.
whether through voice or message or email, pretty much anyway. So essentially, you get another member of your team or team members to help you with your sales process without actually having to hire more people. And
Wow.
so it saves people a lot of money, gives them back their time, and also makes them more profitable.
So powerful. And I love that you said the personalization in that as well. I think that's really important that that's not completely lost in the
Yeah, I
process.
mean, if your messaging, this is the same whether you're using AI or not, but if your messages don't sound relevant, personalized, if they sound robotic, you're not going to land very well, right? And the whole art and the skill of prompting the AI agents, which was what we do behind the scenes, we troubleshoot them, we fix them, we optimize them so they get better over time as they learn about your business. But our mission is to enable a seamless sales process, which we don't pretend for it to be a human. We acknowledge that people are talking to an AI. However, it's so efficient, fast, and gets the job done properly
Mhm.
that people actually find it a very pleasurable experience to work with.
That's fantastic feedback. And what are the most common objections that you receive if you're proposing this new CRM discipline? And how do you overcome any resistance from that?
hmm Well, one of the most common objections is, why is there a setup fee?
Okay.
Because not everyone understands that an absolute shit ton of work goes into building these things and getting them to work well. Because here's a in my keynote, I have a slide about the Frankenstein of CRMs and how by the time people come to us, a lot of the time, they've tried so many different ways to do efficient, seamless, AI enabled marketing and sales. And they've essentially tried to duct tape together different tools, CRMs, Zapier, Make, N8N, Google. They're on Google Sheets, and then they have different salespeople doing this and one thing. And then they have WhatsApp messages. And essentially, they've put so much complexity, time, and cost
Mm.
into building this Frankenstein that they don't want to leave anymore, or they're like, oh no, this is just we're ingrained in our systems. So that's typically, a concern of businesses. And what we do is we take all of that off their hands, right? Our service is for businesses that just want it done for you and they want to know that the systems is working. So not only we do the strategy of the sales process, we design and build and implement the tech. We have a tech stack that we put in place, and we maintain it and manage it so that our clients can just focus on selling and growth and
Mm.
not have to fix and tinker with your Frankenstein of a setup. So that's one of the objections. Another one is, will it work for me?
Mm.
And I would say that, there's certain businesses that don't necessarily need what we do. If you don't have a steady stream of leads flowing into your business, if you don't have, a sales team, for example, you might not be at the point where you need to automate and AI enable the communication, right? If you're not looking to grow and scale online, or you have very long, sophisticated sales cycles, then you might use AI in different ways.
Mm.
Obviously, following up, nurture, all businesses should have that. But really, where our systems really come into play is with leads driven businesses, where you know that if you just could increase the follow up, nurture, and conversion touch points by 2%, 5%, that would equate to many, many, many hundreds of thousands over the year, right? Just
Mm.
cranking up those levers. And also, a lot of the time, scaling typically means investing into more people, headcount, recruitment, training, sick days, all of that. And so now we have a unique opportunity to really help and enhance that process by automating a lot of what used to be done by humans.
Thank you. And would you typically work with a certain size of business?
Our clients typically range from about a seven figure, 1 million upwards, typically, because when you get to a million, you have a different set of problems to solve. And you want to get to that 3, 5, 10 million. And, putting in place these kind of solutions isn't optional. Whether you put it in house, whether you do it internally with internal staff, or you hire a specialist agency and service like ours, you'll need what we do. If you don't, you'll quickly be left behind, because this tech is now becoming standard and in the DNA
Yeah.
of businesses and their sales process.
It's not to be afraid of that, to release the Frankenstein and embrace a different way.
Well, I would be afraid of not doing it,
Exactly.
because the businesses that can't keep up and act faster, speed to lead
Mm.
and speed to value are the
Mm.
two things that are going to be a real competitive advantage. Like, how fast do you get to that prospect? And then how fast can you deliver your unique transformation?
Mm.
And if people do it faster, then you will be left behind. 78% of people do business with the first business to call them. I didn't make that up. Go research it. It's a fact. It's a
That's
study.
powerful. Yeah,
Yeah.
powerful. Time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence. At time, AI is an accelerator at the end of the day. All it does is make things exponentially faster. And we have no choice but to keep up most of the time if we're going to be in business in the future.
Amazing. And could you share an example of a client success story that you've had and a positive outcome, positive transformation that they have achieved through working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with a lot of trades businesses and local businesses, as well as like training centers, martial arts academy. We have a variety, SaaS as well, but our sweet spot has been, renewables, solar, roofing, plumbing. And we work with one of the biggest and most successful renewable installers in the UK. They're called Simply Eco. And before working with us, they did have a very manual process. They were collecting leads from multiple websites on spreadsheets, and they had a response time of about 30, 40 minutes. They had no automation. They were qualifying prospects manually. And then after working with us, we put in place their AI revenue engine. We got their lead response down to 1 minute, essentially under 60 seconds. Every lead automatically contacted and followed up. We built in a photo upload portal, meaning that pictures supplied from the prospects could be analyzed quickly and efficiently with AI as well, and reducing the time that it took for salespeople to process those leads to only a couple of hours per person. In the first 4 months, that company grew 25%, and they were a 15 million pound business when they started with us. So you can just get an idea of what that revenue growth can be just by, you know, tweaking a few levers on the back end. This is without investing more top of funnel. What does that mean, top of funnel? It means you don't have to invest more into lead generation and ads, because the leaks in the funnel
Mhm.
are beneath the surface in the systems, right? And so obviously, as a marketing strategist, you want to be looking at every link in the chain to make sure every link is optimized. But where we specialize is actually fixing the leaks in the middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel.
Wow, thank you so much. That's a really powerful testimonial. I can imagine that they are incredibly happy with your work.
Yeah, they've been a client now for a few years. We continue to help them grow and scale online as they dominate their industry.
Amazing. And you named a few different types of business that you work with. Would you like to just give us a selection of other businesses that you've
Yeah, we have
Mm.
plumbing and heating clients, electrical, solar. We have waste removal clients. So you can imagine waste removal is huge. They're spending money on ads. They're getting a lot
Mm.
of inquiries coming through. So AI processes everything, has full blown conversations. So these high volume leads driven businesses where really our systems kind of make difference. SaaS company, we're working with one of Daniel Priestley's SaaS businesses called Book Magic AI, helping them drive customer acquisition as well onto their platform.
Amazing. And if any of our listeners are curious to find out more, how can they contact you, Francis?
Well, it's pretty easy. I'm on LinkedIn. You can Google me, and you can visit our website at leadhero.ai.
Amazing.
On our website, we actually have a free AI diagnostic, and it's pretty cool. Put in your website and a few details about your business. It will use AI to actually research your industry, research your business and your offer and what you're doing, and give you a unique, personalized report and identify, well, where are you leaking revenue, but also how can you plug those gaps as well. And that's free of charge, just to help educate and enlighten prospects. And then if you think that this might work, you can always book a revenue roadmap call.
Amazing. Francis, thank you so much for your time. You've given us so much value. And we really are looking forward to continuing working together on your thought leadership journey and wish you all the best for your continued success. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cassie. Have an
Thank,
amazing day.
thank you. And thank you for listening.